Thank you very much for having me. Very excited to be here.
You're very welcome. What can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, let's see. I've been an actor for a little over 2 years. I owned a couple of insurance companies, still do. And right when COVID hit, of course, threw the world into disarray. And so I was looking at kind of gearing back up for the insurance companies. And I was like, I just don't really feel like doing this anymore. So I decided to give acting a try. And it was great. I had a lot of fun with it. And, they always say in acting, if you're going to do acting, the best way to get into a movie is just to produce one yourself. So, next thing you know, I was an executive producer. I wrote a couple of scripts, and
Hmm.
voila! Next thing you know, we had a movie.
Well, that's amazing. That's awesome. Now, you told me that you found out about my show from Kylie and her mom.
Yep, Kylie and Kelly Opsel, wonderful people. Hey guys.
Thank you, and thank you for Kylie for recommending you to come on my show. I appreciate it. She's a wonderful guest. Kylie's an amazing actress. Um, Now for you is you've done some couple of films like Broken Innocence, Uncivil War, um, and The Legend of Johnny Jones. And what can you tell about The Legend of Johnny Jones?
Well, so first of all, I just want to go back real fast and say Kylie is fantastic. Both her and her mom. I got the opportunity to act with Kylie in a movie and direct her as well, and just fantastic actress, fantastic person. It was great to be able to direct her because sometimes as a director, um, every now and then you get actors that
Hmm.
think, okay, I'm a fantastic actor. I know what I'm doing. I don't need to take direction. And it's like anything. You watch Michael Jordan play basketball, he still had a coach. He still had Phil there telling him what to do. And the time when it really seems to work the best is when the actors and the directors and the director of photography, everybody works
Hmm.
together and it's seamless and everyone trusts each other. So it was great to work with Kylie and really all of the actors and actresses on Race Against Time. It was a really good group. So I really enjoyed
Well, that's
directing her. So, yeah.
that's amazing. And
Um,
by the way, what film did you work with Kylie with?
so we worked together on Race Against Time, and I'm trying to think. I think I've worked. Oh, and Broken Innocence. She was on
Okay,
Broken Innocence.
let's
Well,
let's talk about that since you worked with Kylie. Um, wh what is Broken Innocence and the film about? And what was her role and what was your role?
so on that one, I wasn't as involved. I was an executive producer on that one. That was a great film. Chase Dudley was the producer on that film and director, and he's actually working on another one now um, that's just coming out, Blood in the Bleachers, I believe. Um, and Kylie was again a fantastic actress on that one. I didn't get to see her final day of shooting because I had to leave to go to LA, but um, she's just so good and so seamless in everything that she does. The film itself is about um, the I'll call it the creep factor. The daughter in that has some issues with the father and how that all
Mm-hmm.
plays out. There are some great actors and actresses on that set, and it was a really neat production. We shot that one in Kentucky, which is interesting. Kentucky's great because they have some wonderful film incentives up there, but there's always the give and take, right? When you go to Kentucky, you are dealing with the fact that you're in Kentucky, you're not in Hollywood, so the amenities are not as amazing. Florida is kind of the same thing. Our incentives not quite as great as Kentucky, but we have a little bit more amenities than Kentucky. But if you're coming to shoot in Florida from LA, you're like, where are all the amenities? So
Mm-hmm.
it's just everybody's got their trade off.
And now, is that the film where Kylie was in doing some action moves and action?
That was Race Against Time. Yeah, in
Yes.
fact,
Let's talk about that.
that was neat because two of these stunt coordinators who are on Race Against Time. One of them is now my business partner at K75 Stunt Academy, Kevin Rigo.
Hmm.
The other one was just in a Spectrum Bay News 9 video that we just did, a promotion for the Academy, and that was Meg Joyce. And both fantastic stunt coordinators. In fact, I think Meg mostly worked with Kylie on that, and they came up with some fantastic moves because a lot of the times the
Right.
female feel more comfortable working with a stunt coordinator who's female.
Well, you had Kylie as an actress, and I believe you can correct me, actress Anna on set.
Anna Stadler was in that one as well.
Yes.
Yep, another
And,
great
and
actor.
and all the other names were on the set as well. And I like the behind the scenes of the film, the all the action, the stunts, and the fighting moves, and how long did it take to make the film, and who helped with Kylie and actress Anna and all the actors on set with the moves and the stunt? How long did it take to practice the moves and jumping and all that, etc.?
Yeah, well, we had a great location to shoot out there because it's that movie is set in kind of a rough and tumble type environment, and yeah, we did. We had some great people on that. Nicholas Rosu was on that as well. Lana Richards, Melissa Coles, some really good actors and actresses. Now that was actually a short that we shot, but we're actually going to turn that into a full length feature, I believe. Luke Reether is working on that, and
Hmm.
uh, so that one was really really cool because of all of the stunts that were involved. And the nice thing about that is when the set really flows very well, um, it you can get a lot more done. So we worked really hard at setting up the stunts and practicing the stunts prior to getting on set. So once we get on set, we can really just roll through it. So all of the blocking, all of the stunts, we tried to get all of that done as we were setting the scene for the next shot that we were shooting.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
we moved through quite a bit in that film. We got a lot done in a 3 day shoot. Normally would have taken 6, 7, 8 days to get that done. But when you have really good actors and actresses that really know what they're doing and a good hardcore crew, you can move very quickly, which we did on that one.
Well, it's amazing. Where can people watch those two films?
Oh man, that's a good question. I'm not sure. So right now, Race Against Time might still be in the distribution
Okay.
phase,
Hmm.
and after a while, you work on a lot of films. It gets tough sometimes to remember which one is in which phase. Broken Innocence. I don't know if Chase had already secured distribution. He may have secured distribution, but
Hmm.
it hasn't gotten onto the platforms yet. So unfortunately, you can look both of them up on IMDb though, and you can follow them there, and you can get all of the updates on
Hmm.
how they're moving along.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm like I said, I saw Kylie posting on her Instagram, the behind the scenes of all the action films she was doing with working with you and all the films that you made. And so I can't wait for the audience to see it, and especially your work. Um, Now more about you is behind you became an actor, and then now you became a producer and a director. What made you decide to become from an actor to going to become, I want to direct films and I want to be a producer?
Well, what made me become a director was actually Luke Reether, because Luke's a great guy. He's over in Lakeland, I believe, just opened up a studio over there. In fact, he's having a grand opening, I think, this weekend. Great guy. Luke and Stephen Wilson had me on their set, and while we were on their set, unfortunately, Luke actually got sick on the set of Race
Ooh.
Against Time because you're shooting in this old dilapidated factory. I said it was an incredible scene where we shot the location, but they had a lot of fumes in there, and we didn't realize that at first. And a couple of people got sick, and Luke was one of them that got sick. And so when he went down, I was actually acting on that set, and I kind of stepped in because someone needed to direct. So
Hmm.
uh, between Luke and his wife Taylor, or between myself and Taylor, we were able to keep the set moving and get all the rest of the scene shot. So then later, when we went back to shoot another film, Luke said, Dave, would you like to direct this one? And I said, you know what? I really enjoyed directing when it kind of got thrust on me. I had a great time. I liked working with the actors. Absolutely, let's do it. So I ended up directing another one of Luke's films, Myra's Last Hope. And I had a great time with it. I loved it. I really look forward to my next directing experience. But that was kind of how I got pushed into that.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that happens a lot if
Hmm.
you're a writer. Sometimes you want to see your film, your script
Right.
brought to life in the way that you want to see it brought to life. So it's kind of a natural transition, I think, for a lot of people.
Right. Now, again, this is gonna be a shout out to Kylie, but when are you gonna be working with her again?
That's a good question. I'm not sure if I have anything specifically on the books coming up, but we tend to cross paths a lot, so I'm sure that I will be on set with her again soon. It's a nice film community, I would say, on the East Coast. We tend to run across each other a lot. Like I was in a couple of films with Melissa Coles as well. She was on that one. And you see a lot of the same faces,
You
which
know the
can be good and bad. You get
Mhm.
that rapport with working with someone. But then you see the same faces and you like to try and encourage people,
Mhm.
new people to get in as well. So I'm always encouraging new people to get into the business, but it's nice to have that familiarity as well.
Well, you know, one thing I noticed about the entertainment industry is that it's not a competition. We become a family. We become a family supporting each other. And the one thing I will say to shout out to Kylie and Kylie's mom is this a support. You know, it's recommending you to be on my show, and that's what I talk about is that my show is going because it's not about me, it's about you and everybody who support each other in this entertainment industry. So a lot of people who think that they want to get into the entertainment industry, they're like, oh no, I'm afraid. Is this a competition? Am I going to compete with my friends? It's not, right? It's not. And it's just like we become a family, we support each other in this entertainment industry. My next question for you is that I think this is a very good question, and I ask a lot of actors this, is that when when you go for auditions, how do you, for any age, especially young actors, young actresses out there, how do you my okay my question for you is that what was your advice for to give them when they're doing auditions and they're being turned down, they didn't get the role. What's your advice for any young actors, any young actresses out there, to encourage them to keep going, to keep doing this if this is their passion in their entertainment industry? Because I know a lot of them, you know, and I'm pretty sure you can correct me. I'm pretty sure a lot of them who have you may cross path that they audition for your role or your film, for example, and they may or not. It may not be your film, but they may not get that role. What's your advice for anybody out there who be experiencing this right now?
Everyone's experiencing it. That would be my advice, is to understand that you're going to see, if you do get into this industry, and I highly encourage it. I have a radio show, a podcast like this called Becoming an Actor, where I talk about how get into the industry. It's a great industry. You should be involved in it. But I also talk about the fact that as soon as you do, you're going to see all of your friends on Facebook and Instagram and wherever else saying, booked a role, booked another one, booked this, booked that. What you're not seeing is that, okay, maybe you see that Kylie booked a role right now, but then she might have gone a few weeks before she booked the next one. and then you're seeing Anna booked a role, and then she might go a few. But when you see them one after another, it looks like everybody is
Hmm.
getting these roles except for me, and that's not the case. And in fact, if you really want to see for sure, go look at some of the big time actors. Some of the largest actors out there, the names that everyone knows, the Tom Cruises, the Angelina Jolies, they will tell you that they only book two, three jobs a year sometimes because they've gotten to a point where they're looking for the bigger roles. They want that blockbuster. But even the next level down from them, they'll say, I only book the ones that I really want. I don't need to work every single day. But I think it's a natural human trait. If you haven't worked for 3 or 4 days, you start to feel the heart palpitations. Oh no, I got to get on set. What's happened? Nobody wants me. Nobody loves me. I auditioned for a couple and they said no, or I never heard back. That is par for the course. And you know what? You don't fit every
Hmm.
role. That's like you walk into a pound and say, which dog do we want? Well, you know what? Not every dog is going to be perfect for every person. Not every role is going to be perfect for every actor. You have to look around and you say, okay, you know what? I see myself as that role. But they might be looking for someone with a big head of hair. I'm not going to fit that role. Move on to the next one. They want someone that's 6'5". I'm 6 foot. That's not for me. So you never know why somebody passes on you.
Hmm.
It could be for something that you can't possibly change. Maybe they're looking for a black person and you're a white guy. Look for the next role that's looking for a white guy, not a black guy.
Hmm.
They might want a lady and you're a guy. Look for the next role that's looking for a guy. There's always a reason why you didn't get past. Sometimes it's because you didn't give a good performance. That is a tiny, tiny, tiny percentage of the time. Usually it's because it was something beyond your
Hmm.
control. So just accept it, move on, and wait for that role that you do get.
That's a very good advice. Thank you. I just didn't know how to ask you that question. That's why I was kind of stumbling there. Sorry.
Oh, that's great.
So my next question for you is, Mr. David, what is your next film project that you're doing?
Whew. Well, I do. I have one coming up that I'm very excited about, and it's kind of funny. It's about fear of flying, and the reason I say it, I don't know if you had that reaction because of what I'm about to say. That anytime I say it, if there is a group of two or three people there, and I say my film's about a fear of flying, at least one of those two or three people says, "Oh, I hate flying. I'm not terrified of it, but I do not." Or, okay, oh, I had the worst flying experience. I get that all the time. I tell people I have a phobia of flying. Oh, I've got to tell you, I thought I was going to die on this one flight. Why do you tell the guy with a phobia of flying that you almost died? But everybody instinctively does
So
it.
do you hate flying?
I have not been on a commercial flight in 20 years.
Really?
Yep. Yeah.
So you don't like flying?
I do not like, that is a good way of saying it. I do not like flying down. So yeah, so this film it's going to be like a Hallmark type film. It's obviously it's based a little bit on me loosely, and the film basically the guy has a fear of flying, and he has to get to Italy because his only daughter, his only child, is getting married, and she's getting married in Florence, my favorite city, and so he has to get on a flight. And what's going to happen? How does he do it? Does he do it? How is he able to do it? And so I think it's going to be very hallmarky, but I think it's going to be cute. Fun dialogue about those experiences. Him
Hmm.
saying, "Oh yeah, I've got to get on a flight, but I've got a phobia. Oh, I had the worst ever experience." And that, why do you tell me this stuff? So
When
that's
is
my
it
next.
when is it coming out?
Well, that's we're getting ready to shoot that at the end of this year, probably August, September is when we will start principal photography for that one.
Okay, amazing. I have to watch it. Definitely. I'm not a fear of flying, except I have to say this, turbulence. I'm not a big fan of turbulence, especially
Every year, yeah.
especially when the airplane just drops.
Oh, I mean, I'm not a roller coaster guy either. Some people love the roller coasters. I like some of the ones that are smooth. We have
Hmm.
Cheetah Hunt here at Busch Gardens in Tampa, and that one's really smooth. So, shockingly, I mean, you go way up there and you go down fast. I like that one for some reason, but there's a lot of them that do the loop de loop or whatever, the 360. I'm like, no, not gonna do that.
David, it's the truth. I also have a fear of flying, but not so much. I will get on an airplane, but when it's 100% smooth, it's fine. But when you hit turbulence, it's
So my big thing is it's fine when there's no turbulence, but I'm always thinking when is the turbulence going to come, and that's my fear. So,
yeah.
um, I think I think that movie concept will resonate with a lot of
Hmm.
people. Um, and now we're looking at the actors that we're going to attach to it because we have some good connections. So I'm already looking at some good named actors to
Hmm.
put in,
Hmm.
and some actors that a lot of people will recognize from Hallmark films. Not, I don't watch a lot of Hallmark films, but I wrote this one, and I think it has that Hallmarky feel. I've actually started watching more because a lot of Hallmark films
Hmm.
shoot in Pinellas. So for me, I've kind of started to get into that genre because they shoot here locally. So I've had my wife kind of introduce me to the films, if you will.
That's amazing. Um, Now let's talk about this film, excuse me, Uncivil War, America Divided, and you were the producer of that. Um, to me, that title sticks out. And let's talk about that title, and let's talk about this film. Why, what's this film about, and what's the brief details?
So this film again, I guess I like those films that everyone can say I had an experience with it. This film definitely encapsulates that idea. It's two buddies that are in their late 40s, early 50s. One's black, one's white, best friends for
Hmm.
as long as they could remember, have never talked politics. And 2020 happens. COVID, the lockdowns, Floyd, BLM, the whole thing,
Hmm.
the shot, everything that goes with it, right? All of a sudden, they start talking politics, and you think, they're best friends. They can talk politics, right? But I think we've all been there where we lost someone in 2020, and I don't mean passed away from COVID. I mean we lost someone because the politics got in the way of the family or the friendship.
Hmm.
And it
Hmm.
was that bitterness that just gripped the nation. And I feel like we're slowly coming back from it finally. I feel like the country is definitely more unified than we were in 2020. We got a long way to go still, but we're getting back to it. And I think this film, by the end of it, I hope everyone is cheering for Tom and Byron, the two main characters in the film. I hope everyone is cheering for them to get back together and to see if they can find a resolution at the end of the movie.
Oh, that's a good that you made a film about politics. I mean, it's I mean, I'm sorry.
We'll see if everyone thinks it's good. I don't know.
No, no, I mean, I understand. But it's good that you're making a film. I mean, I understand 2020 was a very difficult time for the United States. Um, Everybody was divided. Everybody was confused, losing friends, family, and or close friends, and during that time. So I totally understand. It's good that you're making a film about it, and you're talking about the documentary. So, when is that coming out, and where can people see it?
So that comes out May 28th is the premiere at the AMC Sundial. And the easiest way to see all the theaters, because I'm four walling it, which for people not familiar with four wall, literally I'm renting the movie theaters out and then selling tickets myself to the theaters. So it's in a lot of movie theaters like AMC. It's in some historic movie theaters that are much larger. Some of them have 1,400 seats. The easiest way to find out where it's showing is to go to the website, the Uncivil War America Divided.com. I think I hold the world's record for the longest website title ever. It is a pain, but it's the Uncivil War America Divided.com. No hyphens, no spaces or anything. And you can see all the theaters. Right now, we're at about 9 theaters, I think, in Florida.
Hmm.
I'm hoping to add a couple in Georgia. I'd love to expand it to some other states. But then after that, then hopefully we'll get distribution, especially if we get a really good review in the theaters. Hopefully we can turn that into a distribution deal nationwide and hopefully internationally as well.
Yes, I hope so too. I can't wait to see it as well. So a little bit about you. People are probably your fans and people who may not know you closely. What do you do for fun? And then where can people, if people run into you, what would people be seeing you doing that when you're not directing and acting in public?
Whew. For fun, I love doing parkour and ninja. Anything you see on American Ninja Warrior, I love that stuff. Obviously, I love the stunts for movies because I opened up a stunt academy here in Clearwater because there was no place in Florida to train for stunts. So I was doing the American Ninja Warrior type stuff because that was the closest thing I could get to stunts was kind of flying through the air and stuff. Now I'm actually training at my own academy because that was why I opened it was to be able to
Hmm.
train. People don't realize it's like I thought. Oh, I'm in pretty good shape. I take good care of myself. I'm pretty athletic. I play basketball. I do the Ninja Warrior stuff. But stunts is not being rough and tumble. Stunts is doing things the right way without getting hurt. So you really have to work on doing a forward roll. You have to work on a shoulder roll. You have to work on how to fall without hurting yourself and to how to swing a sword without hitting your partner that you're working with. So there's a lot of technical stuff that goes into it. And so I think if people met me out someplace, if I wasn't eating at Chipotle, they'd probably find me at the Stunt Academy or training for parkour.
I love that restaurant. Um, it because I just love all the food there. I don't I,
The funny thing is, I only get two things there. I get a bowl with rice and sofritas. That's the only two things I get: rice and sofritas, and I'm done. And the chips. So I get a bowl and chips.
but
And
you're missing out.
no, 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 because I work very hard on my diet to stay in pretty good shape, and that's a good staple diet that I know not going to put on a ton of weight. Always eating just rice and sofritas.
You have to put some meat.
The sofritas has plenty of protein in it.
If I was there and I see you do it, I'd be giving you a hard time. I'd be like, wait a minute, hold on, David, hold on.
It used to be rice and chicken, and actually, it's funny because I go there literally lunch and dinner almost every day. It drives my wife insane, but I'm one of those guys that I can do the same thing over and over and over again. And for
Hmm.
me, I know my routine, it'll help me stay physically where I want to be. Well, I was watching something on Netflix. I think my wife actually put the documentary on, and it talked about how being vegan is so healthy for you and so good for you as long as you get enough protein. And so I said, oh, I'm going to switch to vegan. And she said, you can't go vegan. And I said, it'll be easy. All I need to do is instead of rice and chicken, I get rice and sofritas. And there we go. Now I'm vegan.
That's the way to do it. Um, so all the films that you've done, especially the one with Kylie and Anna and other actors who were in, where can people see those films? And is there a website? And is it going to be on Tubi, Amazon Prime, um, Apple TV? Where can people see the film?
So all of those films, like I said, best way to do it is go to IMDb, look up the film that you're interested in. And if you have trouble finding the film, because sometimes like Broken Innocence, maybe there's a couple of others with that name out there, the best thing to do is like follow someone like Kylie or Anna, or myself, an actor or an actress that you like. And then when you click on their IMDb profile, it'll list all the movies that they're in. And then from there, you can usually see where can I watch this movie, or you can just Google it. Because in today's world with the streaming, and it's just, there's so many different sources out there to try and say that the Uncivil War American Divided is going to be showing here or it's going to be showing there. The best thing to do is go to their website and look at where it's showing, or to search for it on IMDb, or just Google where is this
Mm-hmm.
movie,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to be your best bet because it changes so fast. I mean,
Right.
distribution to me is an ugly word right now. It is really really tough on the independent filmmakers to get a distribution deal, that works for you. Maybe you get someone that says, yeah, we want to
Mm-hmm.
distribute it, but then you're getting pennies on the dollar for it. Or maybe you don't even know how much you're getting paid because they say, oh, it made $10,000 this month, when really it may have made 20,000, or maybe it just is not making money. It's really difficult for the indie filmmakers to be profitable in this world. The Uncivil War was my first. Sorry about that. The Uncivil War was my first film that I executive produced. I had a partner in it, a friend of mine. Phil Martina was the executive producer on it as well. It was just the two
Mm-hmm.
of us. Essentially, it was all our money. And so, you want to try and get your money back, but in today's world, it's very difficult to do that. It's not an easy scenario. Even if you get great distribution, you're not guaranteed of making that money back. So the filmmaker world, especially the indie filmmaker world in Kentucky, Florida, Georgia, the non-Hollywood areas, very, very difficult, cutthroat world
Mm-hmm.
on the executive producer side. The acting side, still very tough to make money, but um, it's easier to get more jobs, I would say. It's more enjoyable. The filmmaking world, that is a tough, stressful world to be in right now, especially once you get to the distribution side. I love the actual producing of the film. For me, this is like my fourth or fifth company. So for me, making a film was like
Mm-hmm.
running a company, kind of old hat for me. I enjoyed that part. Distribution, tough stuff.
Well, that's what I've heard. And thank you for giving your advice about it, 'cause I heard it's very tough out there, and especially for independent and A plus actors and um, in the industry. So, it's very interesting to hear that from you, because not many, in my opinion, that many independent filmmakers talk about that. So I could be wrong. So please correct me on that.
No, you're very much right. A lot of, because everybody's trying to do the fake it till you make it. I'm kind of fortunate in that I'm in an area where I don't really have to worry necessarily about the money. I mean, we all always have to worry unless you're, Elon Musk. But I'm lucky enough that it's not day to day. I need every dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So I can take some bigger risks like this, like opening the Stunt Academy, like funding my own movie, that sort of thing. So I like to talk about it because I don't want to lead people astray. Everybody's out there saying, "Oh, I made so much. I just threw it on Film Hub," which is a platform that is kind of a do-it-yourself distribution. Okay, well that's great, but you didn't, produce a film for 100,000 and make 1 million. That just doesn't happen. Maybe 1% of 1% get that response. So what really happened? And behind closed doors, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I took a bath on it," but in public, they don't want to give that impression. I'm always more of a speak the truth kind of guy, and just be honest. It is very difficult. Am I going to make money on my first film? Probably not. Will
Mm-hmm.
I make a second film? I hope so. Probably not. We'll see. Maybe I will. Maybe I won't. But I don't want to try and give people the impression that, yes, if you make a movie, you're going to get your money back. That is
Right.
not always the case. In fact, that's rarely the case, I think.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for giving that advice. And I think that's very important that people hear that from you and talk about what's going on in the film industry. So thank you very much. And
Absolutely.
David, again, I appreciate you reaching out to me.
I appreciate you having me on the show.
And well, yes, all the work you've done, everything the film industry you've done, and you as an independent film director and a producer, all the films that you're making, they are amazing. So congratulations.
Thank you. Boy, you're making me sound important. I love it.
So, if you mind me asking, do you have kids? Are they also in acting as well?
That's funny. I just heard one of them walk in and I heard the dog going crazy. Yes, I do. I have two boys, 19 and 21. The younger one actually did theater for a while, and I thought, oh, gonna have one, follow in the footsteps, and he wants nothing to do with it. And actually, though, the funny thing is, I should say I'm following in his footsteps because I decided to become an actor when I retired. When I went to his class, I went to his school, and it was back to school type thing, and we stopped into his acting class. I said, "Man, acting! I loved acting as a kid. I should try that." So that was actually how I got into the industry.
So, how does your family um like your films?
Um, I've watched a few of them. The funny thing is, I think sometimes those closest to you are they're your harshest critics. It's funny. My older son watched a film that I was in. Oh, watched the Uncivil War, and he said, "Yeah, Dad, I got through a little bit of it, and you were hitting on a girl in it, and it was just creepy. I had to turn it off. He didn't watch the whole thing. Okay, that's fine."
How about your oldest son?
He is having a great time at UCF right now, and I just showed him a news article segment that we had come out on Spectrum Bay News 9, and he kind of looked at it and he said, "Oh, that's cute." Yeah, they've got their own stuff going right now, which is awesome. I couldn't be happier. I don't know how much I would have cared if my dad had been in film when I was in college. They got their own things going, so that's great. I love that.
That's true. That's true. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Hopefully, with some films that at least break even, or maybe make a couple of bucks. What the heck? I might as well shoot for the stars. And I see myself producing some more films. I see myself producing films for other people as well. We've got a production company, Iras Films, that I have with my other business partner, Iris Cookie Reyes. Again, I've got too many companies, but we are working on two films right now that we hopefully will be shooting soon. One, The Induction, and that one's fantastic. We're working on that one with Latonda Hardy out in LA, and we're securing funding right now for that one. Uh, Cookie is actually writing the script for that one. It's a horror, which is really her genre. And so I'm excited to be producing that. So I look forward to continuing to executive produce and produce my own films.
Hmm.
I also am excited about the fact that we'll be producing The Induction, which is not really our film. That was one that was brought to us. And we have another one that we're working on right now that we're not ready to talk about yet, but that one's going to be a huge film. Very excited about. Maybe in a couple of months I'll come back and come on the show and we'll talk about that one because that one's going to be a big, big one for
Yes, please.
this
I
area.
would. I'd love to have you back, and let's talk about that film. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'd love to have you back. And
Oh,
thank
thank
you again. Thank you, David, for reaching out to me. I will stay in touch with you. I'm now following you on Instagram, and
you.
let's
Follow
yeah.
me more on Facebook. Instagram gets all of my posts from Facebook. I almost never look at Instagram. I feel bad. I'm like, people must think I'm the biggest jerk because I never reply to comments on Instagram or did. It's
Yeah,
just my
so
Facebook goes over, and I'm like, oh, no.
to not to put you on spot, David, I mean, I was like, okay, this David guy, I'm following you, and I was like, I'm sending you a message, and I'm like, okay, David, when are we, what's going on here? And then you sent me in, you sent me this long paragraph. I'm sorry, blah blah blah. Here's my number, blank 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 blank. Text me is better, and blah blah blah. And I'm like, what? It's so I was thinking, so I was
Yeah,
like, okay.
horrible with Instagram, horrible with it. But the funny thing is, if anybody actually knew how to spell my name, worst last name. I mean, I love my last name, but for trying to spell it. But if people look me up, David Siracusa online, I've got my phone number there, my email there, my website. But I'm like, please don't go to Instagram because I'm never on there. Facebook, I get right back to Instagram. Oh, yeah, not good, not good.
You have to get better at it.
I know, I know. Everybody always tells me that. My kids tell me that I write too much for Instagram. My wife too. She's like, it's all pictures. I'm like, yeah, I don't do pictures. I write. Like you said, I wrote back paragraphs. That's what I do. I'm like,
Yeah.
20 minutes later. Okay, that's good.
Because I was like, okay, David, I appreciate your message. And I was like, okay, yeah, no problem, Dave. I'd love to have you on my show. And then I was like, wait a minute. And then I was like, okay. And then about I don't know how many minutes later, um, I get a message from David. I was like, "Oh, David, let me see what he says." And I'm reading it, and he's like, "Yeah, hi, Ryochi. I'm sorry. I have to look at my phone, but blah 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 blah. I don't get on Instagram that much. Blah 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 blah. Um, here's my phone number. Blank blank area code. Blank 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 blank. Text message is better. Talk to you soon. Best something like that. Best regard, David." And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, um, okay, let me. So.
That is 100% me, man.
So I was
I
like, okay. I sent a text. I was like, yeah, sure, David. I'll just send a text message. And I was like, but first I was thinking to myself while I'm typing the text message, I was like, why am I doing this? Wait, wait, wait. Where's the Instagram? I was like, social media. So I was like, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Let me just send them. It didn't
come
bother me.
over,
It
come over
didn't,
and join me on Facebook.
didn't bother me, but yeah, I need to get on Facebook more but I don't get on Facebook more. I get on Instagram a lot more.
See? Yeah, we're just the polar opposites. You have hair, I don't. We're just totally opposite.
I need to get better on this on Facebook. Well, David, thank you for coming on my show, and I would love to have you back on your next big film project or any film project that you're working on. I would love to have you back, and maybe potential have Kylie on as well.
That's great. Oh yeah, I'd love to be on the show with Kylie. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you, Ryoshi. I really appreciate it. And last ditch plug, go to the uncivilwarAmericaDivided.com and look for the cities where we're showing. Please grab tickets, come out to see it. It'll be controversial, but it's fun at the beginning and before it gets into the intense stuff in the last quarter of the film. So
Yes, everyone, please see Mr. Davis' film and all the film that Kylie's Anna in, and all the other actors and actresses that's in the film as well. Please go support them and please follow Anna and Kylie's Instagram. And I know David doesn't get on, but please follow David's Instagram. Um, and seriously, let's all support each other in this entertainment industry because we are all a family, and this is what we love doing. So everyone, please do that. And thank you again, David. I would love to have you back and let's stay in touch.
all right, great. Thank you so much, Ryoshi.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, have a great one.
You too. Bye bye.